Draft week is officially here. Welcome into this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for joining us. We have some brand new rumors to get to from ESPN's Adam Schefter as he put out a report this morning on some moves the Seahawks could be making in the 2025 NFL Draft this week. We'll tell you what those are and react to it coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, folks, we are trying to get to 65,500 subscribers on the channel before the first round of the draft on Thursday, and we need your help. We're almost there, just 21 subs away from reaching that next milestone. Make sure and join us for live coverage of the 2025 NFL Draft right here on Seahawks Today this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, in addition to our daily news and rumors, our breaking news, Q&A mailbags, and more right here on the channel. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/SeahawksTV, and we'll get started with today's show. Let's begin with the latest from ESPN's Adam Schefter, who says that the Seahawks are shopping backup quarterback Sam Howell, and they're also looking at drafting a QB. Here's more from Schefter. John Schneider has done many good things during his 17 years as the Seahawks general manager. He just hasn't drafted many quarterbacks. The only two quarterbacks he has drafted are Russell Wilson in the third round in 2012 and Alex McGough in the seventh round in 2018. The team already has been incredibly busy at the position this offseason. It traded Geno Smith to the Raiders for a third-round pick, then signed free agents Sam Darnold and Drew Lock. It could still wind up trading Sam Howell while entertaining the possibility of drafting another quarterback per sources. Once Seattle signed Lock, it opened up the possibility of a potential trade of Howell, whom the Seahawks traded for just over a year ago in a deal with Washington. Howell is available, and if the Seahawks wind up trading him this weekend, it would open up the possibility of drafting just the third quarterback during Schneider's tenure. This makes a ton of sense for Seattle. They've already brought in Drew Lock, and it's safe to assume that you're not going to go into training camp with Sam Howell, Sam Darnold, and Drew Lock. That would be a bit crowded, and you wouldn't have a young quarterback that you can develop on the beginning of a rookie contract with those three guys if you were able to do that. Now, I will say it's highly unlikely, in my personal opinion, that Seattle is going to use the 18th overall pick on a QB. And even if they trade that pick, I don't see them using a first-round pick of any sorts on a quarterback. I think this is the talks here are about later on. If we're going to be honest with you, Howell isn't the answer, and he did not look good in a small sample size when he was given the opportunity last year when Geno Smith went down, and he did not impress me when he was the full-time starter in Washington either. I think if you're the Seahawks here, you just have to count your losses and move on with Sam Howell. You have to get what you can for him while you can still get something at this point in time. Schneider wants a young quarterback. He has said many times over that he is embarrassed with the track record or the lack thereof when it comes to drafting quarterbacks over the years in Seattle, and I don't blame him for wanting to get a younger quarterback either. Even if Sam Darnold is your long-term solution at the quarterback position, and he very well could be, it doesn't hurt at all to get a young quarterback, as we saw Bill Belichick do many times in the Tom Brady era in New England, where they were able to turn those guys like the Jimmy Garoppolos and the Matt Castles and the Jacoby Brissetts of the world into quality backups, and they traded those guys and got something out of them. That very well could happen here, even if you fully believe in Sam Darnold. You take a look at the QB depth chart for the Seahawks, and traditionally speaking, Seattle goes with two quarterbacks on the active roster, but if you find a quarterback that you like, then there might not even be a need to keep Drew Lock around either. And your young quarterback could be the number two behind Sam Darnold. So we'll see. how that all plays out, but I very well could see that this is the year it finally happens where Seattle drafts a QB. So let's ask you your chance to be John Schneider. Weigh in on our pinned comment today. Should the Seahawks trade Sam Howell and draft a quarterback? You got two options here. Type Y for yes, in for no. Weigh in the comment section. Tell us what you think. We'll tell you in a moment who those quarterbacks could be. Stay tuned for that right here on Seahawks Today. Before we do, let's tell you about today's sponsor. That is Game Time. And I got to tell you, I'm a big fan of Game Time. Recently, I got to go to an NBA game with my family, and we found a great deal on tickets with Game Time. And you can find some great deals with Game Time as well. And you get low prices, folks, where you can use that money you're saving to invest on buying food, drinks, merchandise, and more easily get a larger group to come with you to the sporting event you're looking to go to on Game Time. Whether it's an event in the Seattle area, like the Mariners, you choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. You choose your seat. And just like that, you're checking out on Game Time with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Seattle Seahawks Today, where their last-minute deals can save you up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy shows, theater productions, and more. Game Time Picks makes last-minute ticket buying easier than ever by quickly highlighting the best deals in the stadium. They have their zone deals where you can save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats. They have their all-in pricing. Toggling this feature shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. They have their seat views where you can get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. The lowest price is guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Game Time, proud partner of Seattle Seahawks Today. Now, John Schneider, he has been asked a lot over the last several weeks about this quarterback class. And the consensus around the so-called experts is that this is not a great year for quarterbacks, comparably speaking to what we see. Last year, there was 5 quarterbacks selected all within, the top 13 picks. You're definitely not going to have that this year. We might have 2 quarterbacks maybe selected in the top 10. But Schneider, he is higher on this quarterback class than what most people are. Schneider said this recently on the 2025 NFL Draft QB class. I'd be careful when you hear people say this isn't a great draft. I think it depends on the team, the player, the quarterback, how you're going to acquire him, where you're going to acquire him. And I'll say this, Schneider has done his homework on these quarterbacks, and they know what they're doing. They've been looking at this quarterback position for a long time, even when they thought Geno Smith was going to be the Seahawks quarterback in 2025. They've met with 6 total quarterbacks this offseason, including Shedeur Sanders at the East-West Shrine game. They also met with Will Howard at the Senior Bowl. Also at the Senior Bowl, they met with Dillon Gabriel out of Oregon. And then a couple more for you. They met with Jaxson Dart at the Combine. They also took an official top 30 visit with Tyler Shough, the quarterback from Louisville. And then they also met with Jalen Milroe with a top 30 visit and also at the Senior Bowl as well. We told you on this program just a few days ago that Jalen Milroe is the one that we would keep tabs on. And I still believe that that is the case, that Milroe is the one to watch here of these potential quarterbacks, the one that's most likely for Seattle to draft. That doesn't mean that they won't draft one of the other quarterbacks, and it doesn't mean it's a foregone conclusion that Milroe is that guy. But all indications are that Milroe is the most likely to be that choice if Seattle has their way. He's the only quarterback of the 6 that they've had meetings with that got not one but 2 different meetings, both at the NFL top 30 visit in Seattle along with the Senior Bowl in Alabama. And I think that is a big deal that they gave him these 2 meetings, that they are really serious with their interest in Jalen Milroe. And I don't know if Milroe even plays quarterback at the next level. He might be more of a hybrid tight end H-back type with his talent level. But nonetheless, he's an intriguing prospect. More on Jalen Milroe. He played for the Alabama Crimson Tide. He was a part of Nick Saban's final season there in Tuscaloosa, in addition to the first season for Kalen DeBoer. And it was a career full of peaks and valleys for Milroe at Alabama. In 2023, he was benched. He came back to lead the Tide to the college football playoff and was named a second-team All-SEC selection. This past season won the William V. Campbell Trophy. And you look at his statistics, and this is somebody that his 2023 stats were solid, 23 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, but he took a fall off in almost every category in 2024 except yardage with the same amount of games played. Went from 23 touchdowns to 16. His interceptions went up from 6 to 11. His completion percentage was down. His yardage was up slightly. He is quite the runner, and we saw that increase quite a bit this past season as he accounted for 20 total touchdowns with 726 yards on the ground, over 4 yards a carry in those 13 games played. And when you look at his scouting report, it's pretty clear. He can make big plays on the run. He has a dynamic arm. Nobody's arguing about his arm strength. He's well built. He looks like a truck out there. He's got a sharp release, but there are some serious accuracy concerns. We saw it in the SEC, and it's hard to imagine that getting any better at the next level. If you're going to draft Milroe, this is a project you're taking on. He's certainly not ready to be a starting quarterback day one, but Seattle would not be asking him to be that if they were to select him in the draft. So what do you think about Jalen Milroe? You're on the clock. Tell us here on Seahawks Today if you would draft Milroe or not. Type D for draft, P for pass. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. We're just getting started this week. Going to be a lot of fun here on the channel. Subscribe now. Don't miss out on our draft coverage all week long here on Seattle Seahawks Today. Subscribe now for free. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time.